Hello, everybody. This is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60, and we are going live today to talk to you about managing your shortness of breath. If I started my blog in 2017, and since then I have worked with Ontario Lung Health Foundation in Ontario, Canada. Um, I've done a few interviews and stuff with companies like AstraZeneca and some news um, videos on promoting COPD or awareness of COPD. I think that for us, we all know, but they don't. And so I believe that awareness of COPD is a really big deal. Hi, Beverly. How are you today? Um, I think that the more we talk about it, and the more people that talk about it, the better our care is going to be. So let's get into it today. We want to talk about managing your breath. And we've been talking about it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. Hi, Norma. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but this is a big subject and doesn't it, it doing it in 20 minutes doesn't help. So we're going to keep on this road until we finally get some understanding of it. For me, it's like this. When you were a kid or you had kids, you had to tell them 10 times over and over and over, and you say, what is wrong with that kid? He's not getting it. Like I keep telling him over and over. And then all of a sudden, one day, he comes to you and he says, you know what? I'm going to do this. And you think, what the heck? Like, where have I been? And that's kind of what we're like. We've all been told um, over and over and over again how to recover from shortness of breath. Most of us have been to rehab, respiratory rehab, um, where we should have learned those techniques. But the thing is that it's really hard to learn. Um, it is a new technique. It is uh, learning to do something that we normally do every day, every second of every day, and learning to do it over again. Hi, Kathleen. um, so learning to do that over and over again. We all know how to breathe. We all know how to breathe. But the fact is this: when we were born, we were abdominal breathers, and as we aged and got on with things, we tend to become mouth breathers. So abdominal breathing is breathing through your nose and taking it right down into your abdominals, and then exhaling slowly. Why do we have to exhale slowly? Everybody's heard this, right? Breathe through your nose, take a deep breath, and then purse lip breathe, purse lip exhale. And we all know how to do that, but some of us have to be told over and over and over again. And I was that person. So I was told many, many times how to breathe, and I expected that I was doing it properly. But it turned out when I was one on one with um, a therapist, I was doing it all wrong. And he said to me, have you been to rehab before? And I said, yeah, I've been to rehab before. Lots of times I've been to rehab. And this was during COVID where we were doing them all virtually. So, I was at every rehab that was going. You say, you didn't learn much. The nerve. Could you imagine him saying that to me? Well, here's the thing, right? I didn't learn much because even though I heard it, it didn't get into my brain. I didn't set a goal to um, to change the way that I reacted to my shortness of breath. We talked about posture, keeping your back straight, and this is something that I have a problem with. If you look at my videos, I'm always leaning forward on the desk. And I've been doing this for some time. This isn't a new thing. I've been doing it for some time because when I sit back and when I sit up like that, I can't breathe as well as if I'm uh, leaning forward. Now, the problem with that is that you're closing all of your lungs. So it's a problem, right? Getting those lungs to open and get your shoulders back, as well as letting your shoulders rest. Take your shoulders from your ears and put them down. I know it's hard and it really hurts. When I first did it, oh, I thought he was trying to kill me. And I couldn't imagine why it would hurt so much. But you know why it hurts so much? Because you're constantly um, holding all this energy in your shoulders. You're getting it all clenched and it's like very, very tight. This does not help your breathing. So, learning to lower those shoulders makes a big, big difference. Um, so, posture and lowering your shoulders. Now we have to make a plan. My email address is catchyourbreath60@gmail.com. If you have COPD, breathlessness is your constant passenger. There's no doubt about it. And because this is a progressive disease, um, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Um, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse because this is a progressive disease. And so you can't expect that no matter that whatever you do, it is going to get better. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So the thing about it is that the earlier that we take control, the better able to manage your shortness of breath is going to be. When we add anxiety to the mixture, we end up making a mountain out of a molehill. We're not strangers to being short of breath. Remember as kids, we'd play around and we'd play baseball or we'd play hide and seek or whatever, and we'd take a mad dash. You know, I was never an athletic kid. Go figure, right? When I look back at it, I think that most of us who are in the situation that I'm in right now could actually say that it started way back when. And I don't think my lungs were ever good. I think that, um, they didn't know enough. But looking back at the symptoms and the signs of it, um, it was probably there from when I was born. And of course, all the factors that came into play, um, parents that smoked, having people in the house smoke, um, just a whole bunch of stuff, right? So when we got short of breath when we were kids, but we did it without panic, we did it without anxiety, and we innately learned how to recover. We'd stand forward with our hands. We would stand forward with our hands on our knees, gasping for breath. And if you think about yourself and when you did that as a kid, you were gasping air into your mouth, which is the wrong way to do it. Most of us attended rehab, and we have all been told over and over again how to recover. But like I said, you don't get that through your head just yet, right? It takes a while to get it. Recovery eludes us because we have allowed anxiety to accompany our short of breath. So, because COPD is an aggressive and progressive disease, it's not aggressive, it's progressive, our short of breath episodes will be frequent, especially if we allow anxiety to guide us. And we go through what is called the anxiety breathless cycle. It's a cyclone that goes round and round, and it gathers everything in its path. So it brings in all of the negative episodes of shortness of breath that you've had. And it tells you that last time you panicked and you started to cry and you got really upset, and this is probably what's going to happen again. Well, I can tell you, if you don't manage it, and if you allow this anxiety breathlessness cycle to happen, and you don't find a way to manage it, it is going to happen more frequently, and the episodes of shortness of breath are going to get worse. These negative thoughts do not belong here. They should not be here. And we can train our brain to think of different ways of uh, inducing our recovery. But we have to take the steps. We have to determine that that's what we want to do. We have to be proactive, because nobody's going to do this for you. Nobody's going to sit with you like Josh did with me, one-on-one, and said, your breathing sucks. It's unfortunate, because everybody should have Josh at least once. Everybody should have him. I talked about him last week. He was a therapist, a respiratory therapist. He worked with me one-on-one, and he just badgered me. Get those shoulders down. Get those shoulders down. Don't be doing this. You're doing this. Get those shoulders down. Sit up straight. Sit up straight. Don't be gasping for air. So when we allow these negative thoughts to come into our brain and this anxiety breathless cycle to happen, it takes over our ability to survive. And our brain tells us, you're probably not going to survive this. You're probably going to die. And we all know that that's not true. And how do we know that? Well, we know because we've survived everyone so far. And we're probably going to survive the next one. But the thing is this: how are we going to do it? So I've been working very, very hard through 2021, 2022, to get my breathlessness under control. And one of the things that is really, really important is having a plan. The days of jumping up and going to the bathroom, or running to answer that phone, or, dusting without a mask, those days are over. It's not going to happen again. So when I am sitting in the living room at night watching TV, My plan is to have my weights there or my elastic bands. And it is to, instead of just sitting there, it is to exercise. So I've only got 3 pound weights, but I'm sure that, I do 20 repetitions because I've only got 3 pound weights. If I was doing 5 pound weights, which I also have, but I found them a little bit hard after I was recovering. So I do 20 repetitions of the weights, and it's got to do something. Like it's got to do something, right? Um, we have to stop letting those negative thoughts take over our brain. Making a plan. Lower your shoulders, keep your back straight, take your time, and don't wait until you. I do this all the time. I wait until I absolutely and positively have to go to the bathroom, and then I have to run. And that's not good. So my plan now is, um, when there's a or when there's a uh, commercial, when there's a commercial, I get up to go to the bathroom. It is good exercise for me because going frequently, I don't have to worry about getting caught short. It is good exercise for me to get up and down more frequently instead of just sitting and watching TV all night. When I do become short of breath, and I've had this cold for the last couple of weeks, so my walker is my constant companion now. And I'll keep using it in the house. My house isn't that big, but I just find that having it um, to lean on, having it as support for me, just really helps the upper body, and it keeps me more honest because I really don't have any excuse not to do it. I do have my walker. Overthinking, overthinking will not help us survive our shortness of breath. We need to find a focus and we need to have a plan. So, my plan is to get up more frequently, take steps down the hall to the front of the house, from the front to the back of the house. And when I do this, I get short of breath. So, I have to sit. I have to position myself. I have to straighten my shoulder or straighten my back and lower my shoulders. And then I begin breathing through pursed lips. So I don't do it right away. The first 2 intakes of air are through my mouth and I gulp them. Because we feel more comfortable when the air goes in through our mouth, but it's not an efficient way of breathing. So 2 gulps of air, and then we start with pursed lip breathing. When you find something to focus on, 5 things to see, 4 things to feel, 3 things to hear, 2 things to smell, and 1 thing to taste. So I always have like a little hard candy on me, right? So that when I get short of breath and I get kind of dehydrated, I um, I can recover, right? I have no moisture. And one of my problems is that I'm on diuretics, and I'm on a pretty big dose of diuretics. So when I um, when I'm on my diuretics, uh, I have to drink more, which means I have to pee more. Okay, so we will continue this discussion next week. I appreciate everybody who came today. I appreciate your support with YouTube. And I'm hoping to make this a really, really good page. So thank you everybody for coming. This is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60. And I will put that focus of seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, and tasting. I'll put it up on my Facebook page. Thanks, everybody.